Hi, my name is Ethan. I'm 28 years old, and I work as a freelance photographer. I've always been drawn to the world through a lens, capturing moments that tell stories words sometimes fail to express. I live in a small apartment in Chicago, surrounded by a mess of camera gear, coffee mugs, and the scent of old books, things that define my simple, solitary life. Until recently, I thought I was content. I thought I was fine living in my bubble, keeping people at arm's length. But then I met her, Sophie. Sophie is 26, and she's an elementary school teacher. She's the kind of person who lights up a room just by walking in, her laughter like music that makes everything around her feel a little brighter. She has this unique way of talking, a mix of wit and warmth, that instantly makes you feel at ease. Sophie loves sunflowers, chai tea, and handwritten letters, things that feel timeless, much like her. We met at a park on a crisp autumn afternoon. I was there taking photos of the vibrant fall colors, trying to capture the golden hues of the leaves against the deep blue sky. Sophie was sitting on a bench with a group of her students, helping them draw the trees. She noticed me first, her curious eyes following me as I moved from spot to spot. It wasn't until one of her students, a little girl named Lily, tugged on my jacket and asked if I could take their picture that our worlds collided. "Do you mind?" Sophie asked, her voice soft but confident. "The kids would love to see themselves in your photos." I nodded, adjusting my camera settings. "Not at all. Just tell me where to stand." After the photos were taken, Sophie introduced herself and we talked for a while. Her students ran around the park, laughing and playing, and I found myself drawn to her warmth. She had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the world. I didn't realize it then, but that brief conversation would change everything for me. Over the next few weeks, we kept bumping into each other, at the coffee shop near the park, at a bookstore downtown, and once at a local art fair. Each time, our conversations grew longer, our smiles brighter. Eventually, I worked up the courage to ask her out for dinner. To my surprise, she said yes without hesitation. On our first date, we went to a cozy Italian restaurant. Sophie told me about her love for teaching, how she dreamed of inspiring her students to see the beauty in the world. I shared my journey as a photographer, my struggles to make a name for myself, and the joy I felt in capturing fleeting moments. By the end of the night, it felt like we'd known each other forever. Sophie had a way of seeing the best in people, even when they couldn't see it themselves. She saw through my insecurities, my fear of getting too close, and she made me believe I was worth loving. For the first time in years, I felt like I could be myself without holding back. Our relationship wasn't without its challenges. Sophie was fiercely independent, and I was still learning how to let someone into my life. There were moments of doubt, arguments over silly things, and times when our fears got the better of us. But through it all, we chose each other, again and again. One of the most heartwarming moments in our relationship happened on a snowy December evening. Sophie and I had planned to spend Christmas together, but I got a last-minute call for a photography job in another city. I didn't want to let her down, but I also couldn't pass up the opportunity. Sophie encouraged me to go, telling me she'd be waiting when I got back. When I returned on Christmas Eve, Exhausted and anxious, I found Sophie in my apartment. She had decorated the place with fairy lights and a small Christmas tree. On the dining table, she'd set up a simple dinner, complete with my favorite dish, lasagna. She looked at me with a smile that made my heart ache in the best way. "I figured you could use a little holiday magic," she said. That night, as we sat by the tree, sipping hot cocoa and exchanging gifts, I realized how deeply I loved her. Sophie wasn't just my girlfriend. She was my home. Life has a way of testing love, and ours was no exception. A year into our relationship, Sophie was diagnosed with a chronic illness. It was a blow neither of us saw coming, and it turned our world upside down. There were hospital visits, long nights filled with worry, and moments when the weight of it all felt unbearable. But Sophie faced it with a strength and grace that humbled me. "I don't want you to feel like you have to stay," she told me one evening, her voice barely above a whisper. "This isn't the life I wanted for us." I took her hand, looking into her tear-filled eyes. "Sophie, I'm not going anywhere. Love isn't about perfect moments. It's about being there through the hard ones. And I want to be here for you, always." From that point on, we became a team, facing every challenge together. Sophie's illness taught us to cherish the little things, the quiet mornings, the shared laughter, and the simple joy of holding each other close. It wasn't easy, but our love grew stronger with each passing day. Today, as I sit here telling you our story, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. Sophie showed me that love isn't just about finding someone who makes your heart race. It's about finding someone who makes your soul feel at peace. She taught me that even in the darkest moments, love has the power to heal, to inspire, and to transform. As Sophie's illness progressed, our lives shifted in ways we couldn't have predicted. The vibrant, carefree days we once shared gave way to quieter moments where love and resilience became the foundation of our bond. Sophie's strength continued to amaze me, even on her hardest days. She never lost her warmth or her sense of humor, even when the weight of her condition felt unbearable. One evening, as we sat on the couch watching an old movie, Sophie rested her head on my shoulder. Her voice was soft when she spoke. "Ethan, do you ever think about the future?" she asked. I turned to her, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "All the time," I said, "and every version of it has you in it." She smiled, though her eyes glistened with unshed tears. "Even if things get harder?" I took her hand in mine, squeezing it gently. "Especially if things get harder. Sophie, I'm not going anywhere. You're my future, no matter what it looks like." In that moment, I realized just how deeply I loved her, not for who she was in the best times, but for who she remained during the worst. Sophie's illness was a part of our story, but it didn't define her. To me, she was still the woman who loved sunflowers, chai tea, and handwritten letters. She was still the woman who made me believe in love when I thought I never could. As the months passed, we found ways to adapt to our new normal. Sophie continued teaching, though she scaled back her hours to focus on her health. I took on fewer photography gigs, prioritizing the time we spent together. We learned to find joy in the little things, cooking meals together, going for short walks in the park, and sitting by the window with a cup of tea, watching the world go by. One day, while organizing some old photos, I came across the picture I'd taken of Sophie and her students the day we met. The memory brought a smile to my face, and I decided to surprise her with something special. I printed the photo and framed it, writing a note on the back. This is the moment my life changed forever. Thank you for being my light, my home, and my heart. I love you more than words can say. When I gave it to her, Sophie's eyes filled with tears. She hugged me tightly, whispering, "You have no idea how much this means to me." But Sophie, as always, found a way to give even more. A few weeks later, on a chilly November morning, she handed me a small notebook wrapped in brown paper. Inside, I found pages filled with her handwriting, letters she had written to me over the past year. Each one was a glimpse into her thoughts, her fears, and her love for me. "I wanted you to have something to hold on to," she explained, her voice trembling, "in case there's ever a day when I can't say these things out loud." I pulled her close, my heart aching with both love and sorrow. "Sophie, you're my everything. I'll hold on to this, but I'll hold on to you even tighter." As time went on, we faced more hurdles, hospital stays, difficult treatments, and moments of doubt. But through it all, we clung to each other. Sophie's resilience inspired me to be stronger, to love harder, and to never take a single moment for granted. One spring morning, while sitting in our favorite park, Sophie looked at me with a mischievous glint in her eye. "Ethan," she said, "let's get married." The words took me by surprise, but they filled me with a joy I couldn't describe. "Are you serious?" I asked, my heart racing. She nodded, her smile radiant. "I don't want to wait. I don't need a big wedding or anything fancy. I just want to be yours, officially." We planned a small ceremony with just close friends and family. On the day of our wedding, Sophie looked breathtaking in a simple white dress, her hair adorned with a crown of sunflowers. As we exchanged vows, I promised to love her through every joy and every challenge, to be her partner in all things, and to cherish her for the rest of my days. Our life together wasn't perfect, but it was ours. We faced each day with courage and love, finding strength in each other even when the road felt impossibly hard. Sophie's illness never defined her. It only deepened my admiration for her and the love we shared. Years later, as I sit here looking at the framed photo of that fateful day in the park, I'm reminded of everything Sophie taught me. She showed me that love isn't about avoiding pain. It's about embracing it together. She taught me to find beauty in the little things, to cherish every moment, and to never take love for granted. Sophie may no longer be here physically, but her spirit lives on in every sunflower, every handwritten letter, and every memory we created together. She was my heart, my home, and the greatest love of my life, and for that I will be forever grateful. Life after Sophie felt like walking through a dream, a haze of memories and emotions that sometimes felt too heavy to bear. Every corner of our home whispered her presence, From the chai tea packets she loved to the sunflower-patterned blanket she insisted on buying that day in the market. But Sophie had left me with more than memories. Her letters, tucked safely into the notebook she gave me, became my anchor. On days when the weight of her absence felt unbearable, I would sit by the window with a cup of tea and read her words. Each letter was like hearing her voice again, gentle, loving, and full of life. One particular letter stood out. It was dated just a few months before she passed, and her words seemed to anticipate my struggle. Dear Ethan, I know you. I know your heart. I know how much you love, and I know how deeply you feel. If you're reading this, it means I'm no longer there to remind you of how incredible you are. But my love, you need to hear it now more than ever. You gave me a life I never dreamed I could have. You showed me a love that was bigger than my fears, bigger than my pain. And now, I need you to promise me something. Don't stop living. Take your camera and go capture the world the way you see it, with all its beauty, its flaws, and its raw, unfiltered truth. Meet new people, make new memories, and know that wherever you go, I'll be with you. You once told me I was your light. Well, Ethan, you are mine. Keep shining. For me. With all my love, Sophie. Her words sparked something in me, a determination to honor her in the way she would have wanted. I dusted off my camera, something I hadn't touched in months, and began to take small steps back into the world. My first trip was to the sunflower field Sophie loved. Standing there surrounded by golden blooms swaying in the breeze, I felt her presence so vividly that it brought tears to my eyes. I took photos, capturing the beauty she had always seen in the world. One day, while reviewing my shots at a local cafe, an older man approached me. He had a kind face and an air of curiosity. "That's a beautiful photo," he said, pointing to an image of the sunflowers. I thanked him, and we struck up a conversation. His name was Robert, and he was an art gallery owner. When I told him about Sophie and the role she played in inspiring my photography, he listened intently. "You know," he said after a long pause, "your story isn't just about loss. It's about love, resilience, and finding beauty even in the hardest times. I think others would be moved by it too. Have you ever considered sharing your work?" I hesitated. Sharing my photos felt like exposing a piece of my soul. But Sophie's words echoed in my mind. Meet new people. Make new memories. With Robert's encouragement, I agreed to display my photos in his gallery. The exhibit, titled "Through Sophie's Eyes," featured not only my photographs, but also excerpts from her letters. The opening night was overwhelming. People from all walks of life came to see the collection, many moved to tears by the story behind the images. One woman approached me with tears in her eyes. "Your wife's words and your photos, they reminded me to cherish the time I have with my husband. Thank you for sharing your story." In that moment, I realized that Sophie's light wasn't just for me. It was for everyone she touched, even indirectly. Her love, her resilience, and her unwavering faith in finding beauty had the power to inspire far beyond what I had ever imagined. As the years passed, I continued to honor Sophie in my work. I traveled to places she had dreamed of visiting, capturing the world the way she would have seen it, with awe and gratitude. Each photo I took felt like a conversation with her, a way of keeping her alive in my heart. And though the ache of missing her never completely faded, it became a part of who I was, a reminder of a love so profound that it reshaped my life. Sophie had taught me to see the world not just as it was, but as it could be. And for that, I would always carry her with me, in every step, in every photo, and in every moment of joy I allowed myself to feel again. In the end, Sophie wasn't just my love story. She was my life story, a testament to the transformative power of love and the enduring beauty of a heart that chooses to keep beating, even when it feels broken.